What if the next life-changing treasure isn't buried underground, but already sitting in your pocket? Today, we're uncovering 4 incredible buffalo nickels that look completely ordinary yet could hide rare mint errors, doubled dies, and fascinating stories that have amazed collectors for decades. Some examples have sold for thousands, even over $100,000. Before you spend another old nickel, watch until the end because one small detail could change everything. In a quiet auction room, what looked like an ordinary old American coin stunned everyone when determined bidding pushed its final price into the tens of thousands of dollars. The seller had almost spent it years earlier, believing it was nothing more than pocket change inherited from a relative. Only after a careful inspection by professional experts did its hidden rarity come to light, transforming an overlooked keepsake into a life-changing discovery. Stories like this continue to remind collectors that history sometimes hides in the smallest places, and that is exactly why the United States Buffalo Nickel 1923 deserves your full attention today. At first glance, it appears to be just another worn 5-cent coin, but beneath decades of scratches and faded details lies a fascinating story that has captivated collectors for generations. The Buffalo nickel was created during one of the most artistic periods in United States coinage, when the country wanted its everyday money to reflect its unique identity instead of copying classical European themes. Sculptor James Earl Fraser designed a bold portrait of a Native American on the front by blending features from several real tribal leaders, while the reverse proudly displayed a powerful American bison standing on a raised mound. The 1923 issue continued this remarkable design tradition, circulating through busy cities, rural towns, railroads, farms, and trading posts, silently witnessing a rapidly changing nation. Millions of people handled these coins without ever imagining that tiny differences made during production would someday become the center of passionate collector hunts. Creating buffalo nickels was far more difficult than many people realize. The design featured unusually high relief, causing the dies to wear down much faster than expected. As production continued, fine details such as the buffalo's horn, the animal's shoulder, the braid in the Native American's hair, and even the date often became weak or disappeared entirely after circulation. Different mints produced coins with slightly different striking characteristics, and the pressure required to fully transfer Fraser's artistic details challenged the equipment of the era. Because dies were repeatedly replaced and adjusted, subtle variations appeared that still fuel debates among specialists studying surviving examples more than a century later. Adding to the mystery are the mint errors and striking anomalies that occasionally escaped quality inspection. Some examples display noticeable doubled lettering, while others reveal off-center strikes, die cracks stretching across the design, or unusual die clashes where parts of both sides faintly appear together. Certain coins show expanded rims, uneven strike alignment, or unexpected weakness that cannot simply be explained by wear. These characteristics are exactly what experienced collectors search for because they tell the story of what happened inside the minting presses on the day that specific coin was created. A coin that appears damaged to one person may actually preserve evidence of an unusual production event that dramatically changes its importance. That possibility has inspired thousands of unforgettable discoveries. Families have uncovered rare buffalo nickels inside forgotten cigar boxes, old coffee tins, inherited collections, and dusty desk drawers that had remained untouched for decades. Some owners nearly exchanged them for face value before someone suggested taking a closer look. Others ignored a worn coin for years until magnification revealed tiny doubling or an uncommon strike feature hidden beneath ordinary circulation wear. These moments create excitement because they prove that remarkable finds are often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone patient enough to recognize what everyone else overlooked. As collector demand has continued growing, impressive prices have followed for exceptional pieces. Recorded auction and private sale results show that buffalo nickels with scarce varieties, outstanding preservation, or significant mint errors have climbed into remarkable territory. Certain highly desirable examples have reached around $5,000, while stronger condition rarities with sought-after characteristics have advanced beyond $15,000 and $30,000. The finest certified survivors with extraordinary combinations of rarity, eye appeal, and historical significance have achieved astonishing figures approaching $80,000, proving that even a humble 5-cent coin can command extraordinary attention when every detail aligns perfectly. If you think you may own a 1923 Buffalo nickel, resist the temptation to judge it by appearance alone. Examine its weight using an accurate digital scale, compare the metal color with known genuine examples, inspect whether the strike alignment is properly centered, study the rim for unusual expansion, and carefully check every letter and number for signs of doubling under magnification. Avoid harsh cleaning, because even light polishing can permanently reduce collector value. Most importantly, if anything appears unusual, seek professional authentication before making any decision to sell. A qualified expert can determine whether what seems ordinary is actually a rare variety or an important mint error deserving careful preservation. The greatest thrill in coin collecting is never knowing when an ordinary-looking piece might rewrite its owner's expectations forever. Every Buffalo nickel carries the possibility of revealing something that escaped countless previous owners, making each careful inspection feel like opening a forgotten chapter of American history. And while the 1923 Buffalo nickel has certainly earned its place among the most fascinating treasures collectors pursue today, it is only the beginning of this journey, because the next coin on our list hides an equally incredible secret that could be even more surprising than the one you have just discovered. Imagine reaching into an old wooden box filled with forgotten family keepsakes, pulling out what appears to be nothing more than a worn 5-cent coin, and later discovering that collectors had been searching for that exact variety for decades. Stories like this have happened more than once, with ordinary people unknowingly holding remarkable coins until a careful examination revealed something extraordinary. That sense of mystery is exactly what surrounds the United States 1924 Buffalo nickel. It may look like an everyday coin that spent years passing through countless hands, but beneath its weathered appearance lies a remarkable history, hidden minting secrets, and details that continue to fascinate collectors across generations. The Buffalo nickel was introduced as a celebration of the American frontier, replacing older designs with artwork that reflected the nation's own heritage rather than classical influences. Designed by James Earl Fraser, the obverse combined features inspired by several Native American leaders, while the reverse showcased the powerful American bison standing with quiet strength. By 1924, these nickels had become a familiar sight throughout the United States, moving through banks, farms, rail stations, local markets, and busy city streets. Yet the very features that made the design beautiful also made it difficult to produce, ensuring that no 2 years of Buffalo nickel production were exactly alike. The year 1924 presented its own production challenges. The deeply sculpted design placed heavy stress on minting dies, causing them to wear faster than expected. As replacement dies entered service, subtle differences appeared from one striking to another. Some coins displayed unusually sharp hair details, while others showed softer impressions on the buffalo's shoulder or horn. The date itself often became weak after circulation because it was positioned on one of the highest points of the design. These natural production variations have become an important part of the coin's identity, encouraging collectors to study even the smallest details under magnification. Beyond ordinary wear, certain 1924 Buffalo nickels escaped the mint with fascinating striking abnormalities. Specialists have documented examples featuring doubled lettering, rotated dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clash marks, and unusually broad rims caused during the striking process. Others reveal incomplete strikes where important design elements failed to receive full pressure from the dies. To an inexperienced eye, these may seem like flaws, but experienced collectors recognize that these unusual characteristics can transform an otherwise common coin into an exciting discovery that tells the story of what happened inside the mint on the day it was created. Perhaps the most exciting part of the 1924 Buffalo nickel is how often remarkable discoveries begin with complete surprise. A collector sorting inherited change may overlook one for years before noticing an unusual mint mark or subtle doubling. Estate collections, forgotten dresser drawers, antique cash registers, and old glass jars have all produced memorable finds that changed owners' expectations overnight. Some people nearly spent these coins at face value before a second opinion revealed that what looked ordinary actually possessed characteristics collectors had been searching for. Those moments continue to inspire new generations to look more carefully at every old coin they encounter. As demand has grown, exceptional examples have achieved increasingly impressive prices. Verified auction records and notable private sales show that scarce varieties, significant mint errors, and beautifully preserved 1924 Buffalo nickels have reached around $5,000 for desirable pieces with important characteristics. Better preserved examples with stronger rarity have climbed beyond $20,000, while elite collector coins have surpassed $50,000. The finest known survivors, combining exceptional condition with extraordinary rarity or dramatic mint errors, have achieved astonishing prices approaching $120,000, proving that a humble 5-cent coin can become one of the most valuable treasures in a collection. If you believe you have a 1924 Buffalo nickel, examine it patiently before making any decisions. Observe the metal tone for natural agging instead of artificial brightness. Study the strike clarity across both sides. Inspect the rim for unusual expansion or irregularities, and check the die alignment to ensure both designs are properly positioned. Look carefully for doubled letters, misplaced details, or other striking anomalies without attempting to clean or polish the surface. Even a seemingly minor feature can dramatically affect collector interest, which is why professional authentication is always the safest step before considering any sale. The real excitement of coin collecting comes from realizing that history often hides inside the smallest objects, waiting for someone curious enough to notice what everyone else missed. The United States 1924 Buffalo nickel perfectly captures that feeling, blending artistic beauty, minting mysteries, and unforgettable discoveries into one remarkable coin that continues to inspire collectors around the world. But our journey into hidden American treasures is far from over, because the third coin on today's list carries an even more surprising story, one that has shocked experts and rewarded the few fortunate enough to recognize it in time. A collector once walked into a major coin auction carrying what looked like an ordinary Buffalo nickel that had spent decades tucked away in an old family collection. Most people who had seen it before assumed it was just another worn 5-cent piece, but specialists immediately noticed something extraordinary. As bidding intensified, the price climbed far beyond anyone outside the collecting world would have imagined, eventually reaching an astonishing figure because the coin possessed one of the most famous minting errors ever discovered. That unforgettable moment proved a simple truth. Sometimes the smallest coin can carry one of the biggest surprises in American numismatic history. And that brings us to the remarkable United States Buffalo nickel, also known as the Indian head nickel, minted in 1936, a coin that appears completely ordinary until you know exactly what to look for. By 1936, the Buffalo nickel had already become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. James Earl Fraser's iconic design had spent years passing through countless hands, portraying a Native American profile on one side and a powerful American bison on the other. Although millions were produced, every coin still depended on precision inside the mint. Massive steel dies struck blank planchets with tremendous force, and even the smallest flaw during that process could permanently alter a coin in ways no one intended. Those rare production accidents would eventually become the reason collectors treasure certain examples far above ordinary pieces. The most legendary story connected to this series revolves around the famous three-legged buffalo variety. During die maintenance, excessive polishing removed part of the buffalo's front leg from the working die. Instead of immediately replacing the damaged die, additional coins continued to be struck, before the mistake was discovered. The result was a buffalo that appeared to be standing on only 3 legs, creating one of the most recognizable mint errors in American coin collecting. Even today, that unusual visual illusion continues to amaze experienced collectors, because it demonstrates how a simple attempt to repair a die accidentally created one of the hobby's greatest treasures. Beyond the missing leg itself, careful observers notice several subtle characteristics that make these coins unforgettable. The polished die soften nearby details, changing the appearance of the ground beneath the buffalo and slightly altering surrounding features. Depending on strike quality, some examples display stronger definition, while others reveal softer transitions caused by the worn die. Tiny differences in lettering, surface texture, and overall sharpness help experts separate genuine examples from altered coins. These delicate visual clues transform what seems like a simple error into a fascinating detective story that rewards patience and close examination. Stories surrounding these nickels are filled with unforgettable moments of missed opportunity and incredible luck. Some owners unknowingly spent rare examples decades before collectors recognized their importance. Others discovered one hidden inside inherited albums, old jars of change, or forgotten desk drawers after generations had overlooked its unusual appearance. More than one remarkable find began with someone simply noticing that the buffalo looked slightly different. Those moments remind collectors that extraordinary discoveries rarely announce themselves. They often wait quietly until someone takes the time to look just a little closer. As collector demand has grown, authentic examples have achieved extraordinary results in auctions and private sales. Coins showing desirable die characteristics and solid preservation have reached around $5,000, while sharper examples with stronger visual appeal have climbed beyond $20,000 and $50,000. Exceptionally preserved pieces featuring dramatic era characteristics and outstanding originality have crossed the $80,000 mark, and the finest known examples with exceptional quality and unquestioned authenticity have realized prices approaching $120,000. These remarkable results demonstrate how one unusual die break transformed an ordinary circulating coin into one of the most celebrated rarities in American numismatics. If you believe you own a 1936 Buffalo nickel, examine it carefully before making any decisions. Look closely for evidence of the famous die break, compare the metal color with natural nickel agging, inspect the strike quality across both sides, study the rim for unusual damage or alterations, and check every letter for crispness and consistency. Never rely on appearance alone, because altered coins can imitate genuine errors. Avoid cleaning or polishing the surface, and if anything seems unusual, have the coin professionally authenticated before considering a sale. Expert evaluation is often the difference between overlooking a treasure and recognizing its true importance. The enduring appeal of the 1936 Buffalo nickel comes from the fact that its greatest mystery was created not by design, but by an unexpected mistake that forever changed its place in collecting history. Every authentic example reminds us that extraordinary discoveries often begin with the smallest details, rewarding curiosity, patience, and careful observation. But our journey through hidden American coin treasures is not over yet, because the fourth coin on today's list holds an equally captivating secret, one that has surprised collectors for generations and could be even more astonishing than the legendary Buffalo nickel you have just seen. An ordinary-looking Buffalo nickel once sat unnoticed in a collector's album for years before it was submitted to a major auction house for evaluation. At first glance, it appeared no different from countless other worn 5-cent coins, but specialists quickly realized they were looking at an extraordinary mint error. Competitive bidding erupted, and the coin ultimately sold for an astonishing amount, proving once again that remarkable treasures can hide in the most unexpected places. Stories like this continue to inspire collectors because they remind us that history, craftsmanship, and incredible value can sometimes fit into the palm of your hand. That brings us to the fascinating United States Buffalo nickel, a coin that has captured imaginations for generations while hiding secrets that many people never notice. The buffalo nickel was introduced during one of the most creative periods in United States coinage, when artists were encouraged to replace traditional designs with images that reflected the nation's own heritage. Sculptor James Earl Fraser created a bold portrait inspired by several Native American leaders on the front and paired it with a majestic American bison on the reverse. The result was a design unlike anything that had appeared before. Although millions entered circulation, producing these nickels was far from simple. The deeply sculpted artwork required tremendous striking pressure, and the mint constantly battled rapid die wear as production continued year after year. Among the most fascinating stories surrounding this series is the appearance of double die varieties. These were not created by damage after the coin left the mint, but by tiny misalignments during the preparation of the working dies themselves. When multiple impressions intended to create a single die failed to align perfectly, small portions of the design became visibly doubled. Every coin struck from that die faithfully carried the same distinctive features. Because such errors occurred before circulation even began, they became permanent fingerprints of a specific die, making genuine examples especially desirable to knowledgeable collectors. The visual doubling itself can be surprisingly dramatic when viewed under magnification. On authentic double die examples, letters may appear to have thin shadows beside them, numbers can show clear separation, and certain design elements reveal an unmistakable second outline. Unlike ordinary wear or machine vibration, true double dies display consistent, raised duplication that follows the original design. Combined with the buffalo nickel's bold portrait and detailed reverse, these subtle differences create a puzzle that has fascinated specialists for decades. Since only a limited number of coins were struck from affected dies, finding one in ordinary circulation has always been exceptionally uncommon. Some of the greatest discoveries have happened when people nearly overlooked what they already owned. A family sorting inherited coins almost spent one before noticing unusual lettering. Another collector purchased a small group of common nickels at a local sale, only to discover later that one contained characteristics matching a recognized double die variety. Moments like these continue to fuel excitement because they demonstrate that extraordinary finds rarely announce themselves. Instead, they quietly wait for someone patient enough to notice details everyone else ignored, transforming an ordinary afternoon into a memory that lasts a lifetime. That excitement is reflected in the prices exceptional buffalo nickels have achieved. Documented auctions and notable private transactions show that authenticated double die examples or major mint era coins with attractive preservation have realized around $5,000. Scarcer pieces with stronger doubling and higher grades have advanced beyond $20,000, while elite collector examples have surpassed $50,000. The most extraordinary buffalo nickels, combining dramatic era features, remarkable originality, and outstanding condition, have reached prices approaching $120,000, demonstrating how a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin can become one of the most sought-after prizes in numismatics. If you believe you have a buffalo nickel worth examining, slow down before making any decisions. Carefully inspect the coin for genuine doubling on the letters and date, observe the strike depth across the design, check whether the rim remains even and consistent all the way around, and compare the metal tone for natural agging rather than artificial brightness. Resist the temptation to clean or polish it, as even gentle cleaning can reduce collector interest. Most importantly, seek professional authentication before selling, because trained experts can distinguish genuine mint-created varieties from damage or alterations that may appear similar. Every buffalo nickel carries more than a denomination. It carries a story waiting to be uncovered. Some reveal artistic excellence, others preserve evidence of rare minting mistakes, and a select few become legendary discoveries that change lives and rewrite collecting history. The next remarkable coin could already be sitting unnoticed in a forgotten drawer, an old collection, or even a handful of inherited change. If you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures and learning the incredible stories behind America's rarest coins, subscribe and join us on this journey. because the next discovery we explore might be the one that helps you recognize a fortune hiding in plain sight.